Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to, if I can get my fingers down the pages, Scraps! This is part 3, the third video where we are playing and experiencing this game from Cesar Capacle. Again, I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. But this is a really good game, very innovative mechanics which are taken from apparently Ironsworn, but also Tetris and Battleships. And it's a very, very clever little game with no violence, no treasure, no greed, no corruption, no backstabbing. Some players are going, well, where's the fun then? Where's the fun if there's no combat, if there's no stealing or treasure? Well, trust me, sometimes you want different games. Yeah, sometimes we play board games that don't have combat. Sometimes we play these other games as well. So welcome back. Please, before we start, take a moment to like and subscribe. Would really appreciate that. But let's get going because we are on a journey. In this game, we are traveling the world around us, trying to collect special ingredients and basic materials to craft projects. And we will always have 2 projects running. One, if I can get my piece of paper, one will be a personal project that you are making for yourself, and one will be a community project that you are doing for your settlement. We, in the previous parts, in the previous episodes, we've decided that we are making some kind of transport for ourselves, like a bike kind of machine. And for the community, we are making some kind of portable music box. Each project needs special ingredients to make them kind of work and to make them unique and creative. For the personal project, again, I'm not sure whether I'm 100% correct, but it seems that you can use any special ingredient that you find as long as you can, as long as you can justify its use in your project. For the community project, you have to actually roll up random special ingredients and then go hunting for them. Now, with special ingredients for your community project, you will roll up to find out exactly where they are. So in my example here, I have Hollowferrum, which is going to be found in hex 8, this hex here. And we were told, or we rolled up, that it is from up high. So I'm thinking it's on like Mountain Peaks is the only place where we can find this porous metal ore. The second special ingredient for this community project is moon dust. We were told that it is, what was the, I didn't write it down. It was like fragile. So I was thinking that maybe the dust has to be kept in water, otherwise it turns to gas. So we have to be very careful in terms of transporting this dust. And that was going to be found 4 hexes away. So I put it here in hex number 10. So this. Now you may have noticed, if you watched part 2, I've added a little bit of color to the map just to make it a little bit more interesting. Pardon my art. I'm not really an artist. I'm an engineer, a designer, but I'm not an artist. So yeah, this is part 3. We're continuing our journey, trying to find these ingredients, going through this gameplay loop. Let's find the little diagram for you. There it is. 4 phases in a loop: planning, journey, collecting, and back home. Now, so far in part 2, we did planning and we did some journeying, and we are currently in hex number 2, this hex here, which is like an area of plains. In this video, we are going to move into hex 8 and try and find that special ingredient, that Hollowferrum material. Now, this was being planned as a 2-part series or a 2-part introduction to the game. It's going to be more than that because I tend to ramble and I tend to talk too much. My videos tend to be quite long, but in order to try and keep the videos to a more manageable size, I'm going to split it up into more. So this is going to be part 3. There could be a part 4. We'll have to see how it goes. So currently we are in hex 2. We are going to have to journey to hex 8. Now, even though hex 8, we know the terrain because we kind of have to make a decision when we're creating the ingredient. So we've made a decision that it's in mountainous areas. So we know the hex. So we don't have to actually generate the hex content. We still have to do all the other traveling requirements. Things like, what's it called? Hex perils, possibility of gathering supplies, etc., etc. So let us continue. We are in phase 2, the journey phase. We're going to move into hex 8, which means after we do our journey phase, we can then move to the collecting phase. Because it's here, it's in this hex. Right, let us begin. So Dilbert, our scrapper, our engineer, requires these two materials here. Now, luckily where's my map? There's my map. Luckily in hex 2, we actually used one of our opportunities, points, to actually find another special ingredient, which I'm hoping we can then use on our bike. That's the plan, right? Let us go. So because we know what the hex is, because it's got the special ingredient, I don't have to do this. I do have to do this one, the hex occupancy. It's just the hex generator that I don't need to do. Right. So in this hex 8, where we have these mountains and where this special ingredient is going to be, is there anybody actually here? Let us find out. So we're going to roll. A 1. No one. My God, I've rolled. Yeah, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I roll a lot of 1s. Basically, it's a 1 in 6 chance of not finding anybody. In hex 2, I rolled a 1. In hex 8, I rolled a 1. Okay, never mind. Now we have to overcome any obstacles, because every hex that you move into could have something that you need to overcome. It could be weather, it could be a path. In hex 2, in the last video, we did have some problems with the path. We determined that we had lost the path, but in our efforts to find our way back to sort of become unlost, we remembered something that our elders had taught us before, so we did it very well. We actually got a 6 for that, right? But we're not in hex 2 anymore, we're moving to hex 8. So we are going to just check, make sure I haven't forgotten anything. Okay, we've got to spend a provision first, so let's do that. Now for all of my materials and ingredients, I'm actually using pieces of card instead of colored pencils, because I want this to be reusable. So I'm using 1 provision. Right, so I've taken off 1 provision. I've got 3 left. I've also got that other special ingredient that I found. Was it called Radiant Yellow Sap? So anyway, that's where that is. Right, so there's nobody in town, or there's nobody in the hex. We've used a provision. Right, let us continue. We've now got that bloody peril thing, haven't we? There are challenges and obstacles along the way. Depending on how well you do, you might risk your supplies, but you can also learn more about Ahura and yourself. Right, okay. So we've got to face a peril or obstacle or challenge of this hex to continue. Right, so we've got to roll on table 12 to determine what the problem is going to be. So D6. Last time we got path. This time we get a 2. A barrier. Okay, so this could be a blockade, a cliff, a river, a canyon, a landslide, or a broken bridge. Well, this could be quite applicable to where we are, since this is a mountainous area. So maybe there is let me think. A broken bridge sounds good. So maybe there's a canyon. The path through the mountains, maybe there is a canyon, a large canyon that splits the range. We need to get to the other side. There is a bridge, but it's currently broken. So this is the problem that we face. Now we need to see how well we can overcome that problem. So we're now rolling what we call face peril. So it is a explore action. So my explore is 3. So I'm rolling 3 dice and I'm taking the highest. So let's see how well we do. I'm going to explain how I overcome or not overcome afterwards. Let's see how we do. Oh, hells yeah. We get a highest of 5. Very nice. So it was troublesome, but you learned from it. So the canyon cannot be traversed any other way. We have to do something about this bridge. Luckily, there were some trees on the edge. We managed to climb the tree very, very carefully, and we managed to hook onto a part of the bridge that was swaying in the wind down the canyon. So we brought it over. We managed to tie it off. Luckily, it could have gone very badly, but we managed to winch or to hook and pull in, grapple, that's the better word, grapple the bridge back over, kind of tie it off, kind of make a kind of a temporary fix to the bridge. It's nothing permanent, not with the tools that I have with me at the moment, but it's enough for me to actually go over the canyon and get to the other side. Now I have to hope that the bridge is still going to be there when I come back, because if it's broken again, I don't know whether I can actually repair it again. But it's okay, because we've got quite a more positive result. So that's why I kind of made this peril a little bit easy in terms of its success, because I rolled high. If I had rolled a 1, a 2, or a 3, maybe the solution to the problem, overcoming this obstacle, would have been tougher, harder, more challenging. But I did roll high, luckily. So it was troublesome, but you learn from it. Okay, I've got a risk supply and I get another opportunity. Very nice. Now these opportunities, again, if you didn't watch video 2, if you didn't watch part 2, and if so, why not? Go back and watch it after this. Opportunity points can be used to either give you a +1 die to a check, or you can find special ingredients. Random special ingredients like we found here. This is no good for my community project, but it could be used for my personal project. Right, so we got opportunity, but now we have to risk supply. Yes, a lot of the time where we overcome these obstacles, we're gonna have a risk of something going wrong, or we could use or lose something about our person, maybe provisions, maybe materials, maybe tools. So we have to roll this. Now, for risk supply, we do a suffer decay move, or a suffer decay test, which is on page 56. I made a note here of the page. I think it would be good maybe if there's a revision done to this to add the page number here. So page 56. And this suffer decay is what you have to do in the final phase, the back home phase, when you get back to your settlement and you run the risk of some of your materials, ingredients, and everything kind of going bad. And normally you roll a random target in terms of the grid that you have to check, using the sort of Battleship rules to determine which part of your grid and which location could be damaged. But as we are on the journey, we've only got one location which is holding stuff, and that is my backpack. So for 70k, roll no need. Okay, roll on the target grid to determine a random affected square. If it's empty, nothing happens. If it's filled, roll d6. For each decay on your track. Okay. All right, so decay, we're rolling. We've only got one decay, I think, so far. So we check, we've got one decay, so it's the backpack. So I have to roll only one time. Roll on the target grid to determine a random square. If it's empty, nothing happens, right? So we're rolling for a location, and this is where the Battleship mechanics come in. Right, we roll, we get a 3. Oh, this isn't good. I've got things in the 1. So 3, 1. Luckily, there's nothing there. Okay, we were lucky. So we don't lose anything. Now, again, I explained in part 2 that if you do actually roll a spot which has something, whether it's provisions or a material, you've then got to find out what happens to that square. You could lose that square completely, in terms of completely black it out and can't use it anymore, or you could lose materials, you could lose provisions. It's not a good thing to happen, but we're okay. We're okay. The risk supply was okay. So again, this was a positive result. Good, good, good. Scouting. Now, can we do this? I think we can do this. After you've taken a journey phase for each hex. Okay. So, yeah, so we can do this as well. So I'm in the mountains, hex 8. I'm going to try to gather supplies now. Do I want to find provisions or basic materials? Now, at the moment, I do have quite a lot of basic materials. I have 4 pieces of wood and I have 4 pieces of stone or rock. Or do I want to try and find provisions? I mean, there's always a chance that we're not going to get anything. I've got good explore, so I'm pretty much guaranteed. I shouldn't say anything, should I? Do I want provisions or materials? Because again, I need to be aware of my backpack, because this is where the Tetris thing comes in. You've got to be able to fit in the special ingredients and everything that you want to bring back. I think I'm going to find provisions. So we are going to gather supplies in this hex here. So it is a gather supply move. We're rolling explore. My explore is 3. So what do we find? Okay, the highest is a 4. So we get a 4. Your exploration is beneficial. Add 1 provision or 1 scrap. Okay, great. So we were looking for provisions. We get 1 provision back. Nice. Now we're back to 4. It's either or, yeah? You don't get both. You have to state whether you're looking for provisions or basic materials. Right, so we've gathered. We've done that, we've done that, we've done that. Okay, we can also spend opportunity points. I think I will. I've got 1 opportunity point, so I think I'm going to use that. So I've got a choice. I can either add a d6 to a single move roll. A move roll are these tests. They're the ones that are underlined. So I can give myself an extra d6. Now I have 1 of those already. I have 1. Where did I put it? I think I put it in my journal. Yeah, I put it in my journal, but I think I need to put it on the character sheet, otherwise I'm going to forget. So I think I'm going to... Do I want to get another special ingredient? I don't think so. So I'm going to get another d6. So I've got a plus d6 and I've got another plus d6. Just for me to remember. I'll rub them out when I use them. But if I have to do any kind of discern roll where I've only got a value of 1, those extra 2 dice could come in extremely useful. Right. So and I have to erase that point of opportunity. It's gone. It is no more. 1 use only. Right. So we've done that. We've done that and we've done that. Now, since we are we've done the journey phase for that hex now. But now, since we are in the hex which has that special ingredient, now I have to try and collect it. I have to try and grab it. Now, there are a few steps for this. It's not simply a case of you find it, you get it, that's the end. No, no, no. We have to basically do a number of steps in order to collect it properly, because this is a game where it's really focused on synergy, not damaging the environment, sort of, what's the word? What's the phrase? Not recyclable, I can't remember the phrase, but where basically like vegetation and trees can sort of keep growing. Is a word for it. I'll put the word in the comments because I'll remember it later. It's what's the word? I'll remember it later. But you're focused on making sure that you take the materials and the ingredients properly, so you don't make it extinct or end the supply. You're trying to make sure that it is sustainable. That's the word. There you go. Right, so we are in a hex. So this is the hex. This is the hex of Hollowferrum. a porous ore with iron characteristics up high near mountain peaks. Okay, great. First thing we need to do, we need to earn it. You'll spend some time analyzing the source and absorbing its wisdom. Okay. So we've got to study and approach the ingredient source to learn how Ira will allow you to have a scrap of such a special thing. Envision how you do it and then roll discern. I told you we were going to use those D6s. Right. So what I would do is, of course, I'm climbing the mountain. That's where the perils and everything is taking place. But I've got to look at the rock and decide and figure out how to extract the ore without damaging the environment, but also making sure that I don't take too much so that there is still ore there. So I'm keeping balance. Also so that there is ore there if I need more, if I need to come back and find some more. So for this, to see how well we do that, we have to make a roll, which is a discern roll. Now, currently, my discern is 1 dice. Now, if I screw it up and roll that, Ira concedes, but with an airy warring. I get the scrap, but I get a +1 to decay. Now, decay's bad because, as you saw just now with the supply check, it's rolling on your grids to find out if anything gets destroyed or unused or whatever. So I'd rather not get decay if possible. So I think, should I use both of my extra dice, or should I just use 1 extra dice to give me 2? What's the chance of me rolling two ones? I shouldn't say that because I do it all the time in other games. 1 decay and 1 opportunity, 1 opportunity. So 2 opportunity would be really nice. If I can get that, I can get back the 2 dice that I lost. These will give me +1. I think I'm just going to roll 2. I'm just going to use 1 of my extra dice. And I'm going to roll 2 dice for my discern check, because I might need that other D6 somewhere else. So we are rolling 2 dice. I take the highest. That would have been if I hadn't made any extra dice. So the highest is a 3. Ira perceives the turmoil within you. This actually fits when I did the preparing. At the start of part 2, when you prepare for the journey, you have to, making preparations and seek guidance. And I got this result. You expect strokes of good and bad luck. There were mixed feelings, mixed visions in terms of the journey I'm going to take. Well, that kind of sort of fits in with that. All right, so we get decay and opportunity. That's not working. Opportunity is good. Decay is not good. All right, so now hang on. One more thing. One thing I need to check. When you do the risk supply, do I rub out and erase the decay points? Okay, after you do that for each decay, clear your decay. Okay, so actually, when I did risk supply, I should have erased the decay point. I had 1 decay point. So after I did the risk supply, I should have erased that decay point. So I've actually only got 1 now. Okay, I think that's how it works. Right, so mixed result, 1 decay and 1 opportunity. So maybe I'm not certain in terms of where to cut the rock to get this Hollowferrum material. Studying the rock face, getting the feeling of the area, getting the feeling of the aura of the environment. Maybe I'm not convinced that I know how to cut this properly without causing any damage or without getting good results. So maybe I'm apprehensive about the upcoming craft. Okay, that's how I think it's going to work. Right, what's next? Obtaining the ingredients. So now we actually have to harvest the scraps. So now we actually have to, in this case, hammer and chisel out the piece that I need. Now again, Ooh, 1 scrap, 2 scraps, 3 scraps, 4 scraps. Okay, so I don't really want 4 scraps because that's going to take up a lot of space, especially if I roll big size scraps. Let's see how we do. Okay, so obtaining it. So we're going to try and roll harvest scraps, which is extract, which is 2 dice. Now, do I want to add that extra dice? The thing is, I don't think I want a 6. Because if I get a 6, which means I get 4 scraps, potentially I could fill up my backpack, which means I can't get the other material on this journey. So I don't think I'll roll the extra dice. I think I'll just stick to the 2 I've got from extract. Okay, so we roll, we get a 4. So we get 3 scraps. Okie dokie. All right, so we have 3 scraps to do. Okay, so we've got to roll size and shape for each one. So for the first scrap, it is 1 square. Okay, that's easy enough. And it will fit nicely in the backpack. So the first is 1 square. That's easy peasy. Second scrap is a 4, which are these. So we roll again to see what shape it is. A 6. Okay, so a 3 square scrap and a 1 square. Right, so I actually get another 2. So I get a 1 square, which is just another piece like that, and a 3 square where there are 2 options. Get a 3, which is that one. So we get a triple lengther. Okay. And the third scrap, which could be the 4th scrap, is 4 size again, and a 5. Okay, it's that shape there. Okay, so it is that shape. Okay, so now I need to cut those out. I need to cut these shapes out of card and put them into my backpack. Back in 1 second. All right, so I have cut out, I'm going to be using this dark blue or darker blue for the Hollowferrum material. And I've cut out the shapes. We've got 2 singles, we've got a triple long, and we've got this triple with a nodule at the end. Right, now I've got to try and fit those into my backpack. I mean, again, I'm a little bit worried about putting everything together because if I roll up that decay where I lose adjacent pieces, it could be a problem. So, but again, I don't want to I'll put that one there. And again, remember, you can rotate and flip if you need to. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to have to put some of them together. Okay, right, so now my backpack has got a lot less space, but I do have 4 pieces of Hollowferrum and 1 piece of, what was that called? Radiant yellow sap or something, wasn't it? All right, so we have got the stuff. We've got the scraps for that special ingredient. Okay, so after we do that, we draw them, we put them into the backpack. Okay. If you don't have space, you have to leave it behind. Aya sees this as misconduct and waste. You take +1 decay for each scrap you leave behind. See, this is why you've got to be very careful in terms of your backpack. You don't want to roll up too many pieces that you can't carry because you get punished for it. Mother Nature doesn't like it when you waste her gifts. I keep moving this over, sorry. After harvesting scraps, you may spend some time here to find opportunity as well. I think I'll do that. I've got 1 opportunity point, so I think I'm going to use that. And I think I'm going to use it to get another D6. Okay, done. Right. So we've done that. Now, question here is, do we journey back or journey forward? If you've still got special ingredients to find and you feel you'll be okay with the provisions you have and with the space in your backpack, you may continue your journey from here. If you decide to do so, just start at the top of the journey phase and go on. The thing is that when you journey back, when you go back, you use 1 provision per hex. So I've got to make sure that I have enough provisions to make the journey home. At the moment, I have 4 provisions. And I can go home very easily, but then I've got to journey again all the way up. Okay, what I'm going to do, in the interest of showing you guys the whole game, not necessarily just watching me play the game, but in order for you guys to actually see the whole thing, without having to go to 5 or 6 episodes before you see all the things, what I'm going to do is end this video now, because I think it's already long enough. And what I'm going to do in the next video, which is going to be what, part 4? There's only supposed to be 2 parts. Now it's 4 parts. But what in part 4, what I'm going to do is journey back to my home settlement and go to the last phase, which is the back home, the crafting and the project work phase. So then you can see everything in the game within those 4 episodes without me having to do 1, 2, possibly more. Okay, so we're going to stop there. In this video, we have gone from Hex 2 to Hex 8. We have journeyed and done all the obstacles we needed to do there. We have found the material that we wanted, and even though we weren't that, we weren't that confident of our ability to actually harvest the ore, we did a pretty good job regardless. But our backpack is fairly full. Well, I say fairly full, it's maybe half full. But I want to show you the last phase, the crafting phase. So what I'll do in the next video, part 4, is go back home. So again, guys, I hope you've stuck with me. I know I can ramble on and these videos can be quite long to watch, but I hope you've stuck with it and enjoyed the game. Please take a moment again to like and subscribe. The dice gods really do like it when you like and subscribe. They give me better dice results, so keep them coming. Comment again if you want to. I love reading people's comments. Make sure they're constructive. Yeah, no nastiness in the comments. We're all learning games here. We're all working together, helping each other. And I will see you in the next video, which will be part 4, when we go back home. Okay, guys, thanks again for watching. I'll see you in part 4. Take care of yourselves and stay safe. Cheers.